Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I apologize for not posting yesterday. I'm not gonna let that affect my consistency. I'm gonna make sure that the plans I take today are gonna be the actions that develop the person who I'm trying to become. So today, you will see 2 videos, alright? Let's start with that. That's on me, I didn't post. Today's topic is going to be speed coincides to flow state, which then coincides to mastery, which then, as we talked about before, is perfection at a specific field, right? So something I've noticed, I guess, just over the years of working in different types of fields of work, right? There's labor intensive, there's customer service. Of course, that could still be labor intensive. But you know what I'm saying? There's sales, there's security, there's warehouse, there's training. Like I've been an ambassador for Amazon before, right? So when we go to look at everything in totality, we start to see, well, where and how did I succeed in those fields when I was successful in those fields, right? And I believe that started with, one, understanding the basics, right? Make sure you know that specific field that you're trying to, study your fields, right? Study your laws, study what's gonna take you down the path, right? Like, don't walk a path blindly. And even if you do walk a path blindly, at least hold faith that you're going to make it out the other end exactly how you want to. Through the challenges that come through, right? Every day. Not every day is sunshine. It's going to rain sometimes. And that's not some, like, you know how in small talk people say, oh, that's crazy weather we're having. No, it's just weather. Weather happens, right? Same as this, right? Now, I guess to start this off would be to understand what efficiency is, right? Efficiency is when you find the best way, or the most achievable route, right? Let's word it like that, I guess. The most achievable route. When you focus on efficiency, speed follows, like, almost naturally. So, like, with me and the warehouse setting, I was one of the top pickers when I lived in Arizona. I got a little badge and everything for it. I was also a learning ambassador when I lived in Arizona, right? Had a whole different vest and everything for it, right? But what got me there was speed, right? The second I mastered everything that I needed to know, the basics, right? How to do the job, how to do it safe, how to, produce rate and beyond, then it became a stepping stone into the person I was, right? It became something that I knew I could do. Like, I was a fast person at this. This was necessarily easy for me after a while, right? Like some specific things, sure. And then from there, once you develop that speed, what follows that? Flow state, right? I don't know if a lot of you guys know about what flow state is or how to achieve it or reach it, but it's part of the path, right? You start off with efficiency, develop speed. The next thing you know, you're entering flow state. And from that flow state, you learn a whole bunch about yourself because you're able to actually separate and think while you do the task as almost robotic, right? So then it's more of a, I'm gonna let my body do this while I focus on everything that I need focusing on up here, right? And with things like that, flow state comes naturally to me. I could reach flow state while I do dishes, right? That's how long I've been doing dishes, for example, you know what I'm saying? And of course, not everyone's going to reach flow state. Like, you gotta have your goals, the only thing in your mind. Because let's say I reached flow state, and then next thing I know, I'm starting to think about negative stuff. You start thinking about negative stuff when you're in flow state, that's fucking up your whole flow. Right? I'm gonna be real. It's no longer flow state. Because flow state is also letting the things that you cannot control pass by. So another version, or I guess another level of flow state, is when you're only sitting there in your mind, doing whatever in your mind, right? Focusing towards how to find betterment where you can and how you can. And not even necessarily having to focus so much on the physical task at hand. It helps you understand and develop a reality within yourself to where you trust yourself, you know yourself. Like, I don't even need to be fully present to do this, but I'm going to be, right? And then that's when you step into mastery. Now, mastery is when you understand exactly how to do something in every way, shape, or form to get that goal, right? That end goal. And what follows alongside mastery? Perfection in whatever realm. So we're already there to an extent, right? In a specific field, right? I'm gonna keep using my examples for now. So I had already found mastery in 3 different fields in the warehouse fulfillment job force, right? I reached flow state almost every time I enter that building and get assigned a task. And through that flow state, I found mastery, right? I found mastery in the things that I could do. I found mastery in my capabilities. I started to master my mind a little more, right? And that's when you realize that at the end of the day, it's genuinely up to how you perceive yourself as well, right? If you don't perceive yourself as someone that could be fast, you're never going to get to the flow state, then you're never going to achieve mastery, right? Like, start with being efficient. From there, we go over to speed. And then this is the start of your path to mastery. Efficiency is beginning, right? That's your foundation. Like, that's learning all the basics. That's learning PPE. That's learning rate. That's learning, it's learning like the rules of the warehouse, right? What you can do, what you can't do to produce what you need to, And the more you, I guess, put yourself out there to find mastery, the more capabilities you will find yourself able to overcome, or capabilities that you will find yourself finding within yourself, like, basically, right? So to step into the path, you have to know the levels, right? I'm going to use another example. Let's use day trading, right? Day trading is something that I've been very inconsistent with, I'm going to be honest. But I know the foundation, right? I have everything I need to know for the most part, right? Of course, I'm not saying I know everything with day trading, or I'd be 100% successful and I'd be able to start my film career, right? So, like with day trading, it would be okay, we start with efficiency, learn the basics, learn anything and everything that involves with it, right? BGs, fucking, like, literally just learn anything and everything. I'm not gonna start throwing a whole bunch of words at you guys that you might not know, but it starts with the basics, the foundation, efficiency. Then that's when you realize that speed comes into play, because you can miss a trade, and or you could maybe enter a trade too late or even too early. So then there's the time management, you got speed. And then from there, you're gonna start looking at the charts and enter almost a state of flow state. You're gonna be like, okay, well, I recognize this exact pattern. Let's look over in the 4 hour, see what highs need to be hit or see what lows need to be hit. And then based on the weekly trend or however it's going on, right? However London high was last night, or however Asian low was that night, right? You're gonna like mediate off of that, and you're gonna be able to be like, okay, well, this is a very similar thing that I'm used to. Like, I'm used to this. I've seen this before, right? And then that's when you're like, okay, well, I'm not really even needing to be fully present for this to understand and see this, right? But also, I wanna keep something in time and in tune here. When you are in flow state is not being present. It is letting your physical focus on the actions that it's able to do, while your mental separates from the physical, so you can focus on what you need to do as well. Alright, so when we're talking about like flow state in general, just understand those things, right? It's not necessarily not being 100% consciously there. And I know I've said that like a couple times this video, but that's not exactly what it is. It is being physically there, knowing what you were able to do, so you let your physical kind of take control, while you focus on what you need to focus on in your mental, right? And that's what flow state is for me. Flow state may be different for everybody else, right? And that may seem like from a therapist point of view, I guess they may see that as a form of derealization. Doc, I'm derealizing because I'm creating a different reality of who I want to become and who I want to see myself in my eyes, in my head, while my physical is doing what it still needs to be doing. So like, even if they wanted to say label this, label that, label this, label that, all these labels at the end of the day are boxing, right? Sure, it's nice to know maybe your flaws, or like, you know, knowing the definitions of things really matter. Like, let's get that straight. Knowing the definitions of things really matters. So when we go into flow state though, let's go back on track. When we get into flow state though, it's a pattern recognition kind of thing that we've built into ourselves, right? Like, if you've ran for a very long time and you're in your head and you're just like trying to tell yourself, stop, I need to stop, I'm hurting, whatever. If you ignore that voice for long enough, it'll just disappear. Then a new voice will come in and be like, hey, start giving you ideas, start giving you positive affirmations, because you're like, hey, you ignored this dude, right? You ignored this bad thing. You ignored this past you telling you that you weren't able to do this because of pain or fear, or, right? So to enter flow state is to also block out the noise, right? And then once you block out the noise, you can step to mastery. Now, I've already talked a little bit about what mastery is in relation to perfection or perfectionism, right? But mastery in itself is a all-encompassing ability, understanding of anything and everything that could go wrong. So you're able to avoid the mistakes, and not necessarily in an avoidance way, but you're just so understanding that you don't even need the mistakes anymore to learn from that specific thing, right? Now, of course, there's always going to be, like, change is never going to stop, right? Going to stop, right? Change is important. God inspires change. And I'm not going to quote God, but in the Bible, there's talk about fools. What are fools? Fools are the people that don't change, right? Now, of course, we all have our moments. We're all human. And to be honest, in comparison to someone that's got all their shit together, we may look fucking stupid, okay? Like, we may look a little off the rails, a little, but that's part of the journey, that's part of the process. You think that they started off looking exactly how they was looking? You think they started off perfect in their mind? They had every single thought their entire life was just positive affirmations and asserting who they want to become? No, that takes time. You got to build that within yourself. And same with achieving mastery. That takes time. Like, you can achieve mastery in your mind. Most of us don't know this, and some of us may not physically be capable of it right now, but you can definitely change your thoughts, okay? I'm gonna be real. I don't care what any psychologist says or what any therapist says to you. You can change your thoughts. Does that mean you're not gonna have random impulse thoughts? No. But you can change your thoughts. Let's not get this shit twisted. Everyone has impulse thoughts. Some are like really bad, right? Like OCD or OBD, like, a whole bunch of stuff. There's a whole bunch of like things to help you differentiate what you may be experiencing, right? And there's labels, there's terms for that, there's even medication for that. I'm not gonna say it's easy, because I also suffer from like an immense amount of impulsive thoughts, right? I'm not perfect. I'm not claiming to be perfect in these videos. I'm simply sharing a perspective that's helped me grow, and that continues to help me grow, even in a time of hardship within myself, right? So when we talk about, I guess when you talk about it like that, it's more of it makes it more of a you versus you situation, which then leaves you more in control of the outcome. Simple terms, simple words, right? At the end of the day, it's going to be you versus you. And it's up to you if you want to follow the path to mastery or not. I'm not trying to say impulsive thoughts and impulsive behavior is not a thing. Okay, I understand that's a thing. And a lot of us may not understand this as well, but that is kind of the entire point of meditating and praying, right? we are going to have the impulsive thoughts. Are they going to be our thoughts? No. Those impulsive thoughts, those impulsive things, the things that you kind of like, whoa, what the fuck am I thinking about? Those types of things, once you separate the, whoa, what am I thinking about? And you realize it's not you thinking about that, because that's not who you are, that's when those thoughts have no power over you, right? It sounds a little cringy. I use that verbiage, but it's real. Like those thoughts, like that's what we do in meditation, right? In meditation, you're gonna have a whole bunch of random stuff going on, a whole bunch of right, a whole bunch of just yada 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 yada, and you're there to let that stuff pass. You're there to understand it, not stand under it, but you're there to understand it and be like, that's not me. Therefore, I don't have to act on that. That thought is not me. Therefore, that thought has no control over my actions or my behavior or the outcome of this situation, right? That's not me. And once you are able to separate the image you have for yourself for the image of who you are trying to become, is when you step onto the path. That's when you step onto the path, right? And whatever path that may be, at the end, there's mastery. You can do this. You can get this shit done. It might take some time. Don't get me wrong. It might take some time. It's not gonna be an easy road. The path to greatness is paved in pain, alright? It's not gonna be easy. I'm just gonna tell you that now. Nothing in this life worth anything is easy. Nothing in this life worth anything is easy. Sure, can things become easier? Could things become easy for you? Yeah, that's when we start walking in the speed to flow state to mastery, right? And whatever field, this goes for every field. I used a mental health example. I've used a job example. I've used another job example, day trading, right? It's your psychology. You gotta master your psychology to get to where you want to be, because the only person pushing you off that path is you, right? Get your fucking mind right. Get your mind right. Like, and I mean that with all like love, bro. Like, trying to build brotherhood here, your sisterhood, right? Like, get your fucking mind right before you get left. Get your mind right before you get left, right? I think Malik said that, so I'm not trying to steal his quote or anything, so I'm gonna let y'all know that now, but bruh, just get her done. At the end of the day, just get her done. Let's see what I got for you guys today. This will be a good quote. You guys need to take this into a thought pattern with you, right? This quote needs to be in your thought pattern. Like when you start spiraling, when you start getting a little off your rocker, per se. This quote is going to help you. The only limitations that one can have are self-imposed. One more time. The only limitations one can have are self-imposed. Get her done. Alright, hope you guys have a good ass day, good ass night. Catch you in the next video.